Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Earthen's Den. Now, I am going to be speaking specifically to my ladies in this episode. I really do feel as though my audience is mostly women, so this is great. Coming into 24, I want to share with you guys some things that I've learned. And if you're younger than me, that's great. If you're the same age as me and you may not have learned it, or maybe you're coming to this place of realization and you just need a little confirmation, or rather a push, right? I need to get on here and let you guys know straight up. Let me tell you from my own personal experience. 20s are for shopping. 20s are for fun. 20s are for adventure and spontaneity. 20s are for dreams. 20s are for building a foundation for your life. You should be unstable in every way in your 20s because you shouldn't be stagnant. You shouldn't be looking for any real sense of like commitment in your 20s. I think that, with so many young women, I know especially right now, there's this fear of being alone that they're shoving down our necks. But let me tell you something, honey. Let me tell you something that they don't tell you. It's not even a matter of being alone. It's not a matter of not wanting to be married. If you want to be married, that's fine. Like if you want to have kids, you want to do the white picket fence or the mansion or the brick and mortar, girl, whatever you want to do, you can do it, right? Like what you want for you, you can have. Like you want it, that's what you know what I mean? You good. But for those who don't know what you want, and you're just kind of buying into the fantasy, or you feel as though you're kind of just like being peer pressured into wanting certain things when it's not even something that's on your agenda and it really shouldn't be. I'm gonna tell you straight up, live your life. Live your life. I spent entirely too much time being modest. Like I was modest Molly. Nobody ever gave me a cookie for it. And I think I really wanted a cookie for it. I really did. Like I was so modest. I was always in a space where I just was like, I don't know, boo, like trying to prove that I was humble. I'm a very confident person, and I definitely think for myself, I had an experience where it was my confidence was challenged. You know what I mean? And it was really saddening when I look back on it, but I realized that confidence is something that 95% of people do not have. And that's a genuine thing. And so what I didn't realize after that experience and after just kind of some hardships in my life, I started to look at myself as those mistakes, right? And let me tell you something, honey, you take a couple blows, you will know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Been through some stuff, made some mistakes, had some failures, you know what I mean? And I know I'm so young, but I got a lot of life to live, but I've lived a little bit. I'm not saying I've lived a lot. Don't come down my throat. I lived, right? I've lived a little bit. I've lived a little bit more than most people that I may know or may not know, right? And what I can tell you is that it's continuous and it doesn't stop. And, at the end of the day, it is subconscious. So there's work that has to be done. But you guys, straight up, you're not your mistakes. You know what I mean? You're not your mistakes. And I think that the point in your 20s is to make mistakes. And I feel like a lot of people who maybe didn't make mistakes or maybe have made too many mistakes or not too many mistakes, who have made mistakes and didn't learn from them. I feel as though, these are the people. Let me turn this air conditioner off, y'all. I'm so sorry. I'm so bold recording this podcast like that. I'm so sorry. But these are the people that typically are not really in the best position with themselves, and so they're really spewing a lot of negativity, a lot of their negative experiences. You know what I mean? You should make mistakes, absolutely. I started my job a couple months ago, and they're so OD. It's anytime I make a mistake, it's everybody is just having a freaking slumber party with the cakes and the cookies. It's so corny to me, and I just think that I realize that that's nothing more than my reflection of their insecurities. And so I say that to reference that back to this whole confidence piece. I didn't know that confidence was rare growing up. You know what I mean? I had always been somebody who was really confident. Like I said, those experiences that I had in high school and in middle school and grade school, that let me know straight up I ain't like nobody else. So I was totally honed in on me, and I had always been that way, and I didn't realize that it was something that was rare. And on top of that, not really having a lot of street smarts, right? And I can't even really say I didn't have it. I just think that you have to go through things to get things. You know what I mean? You have to go through to get what you need for the next season. You know what I mean? You got to go through some things to learn some things. And so, it's typical, you know what I mean? Typical naivety. And, in those positions, I didn't realize that a lot of people were intimidated by confidence. I didn't know that. I thought that if I met somebody and I'm digging on them, they just as confident as me. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I picked you. You know what I mean? I chose this person. I mean, okay, let me not say chose, because I'm not, it's technically choosing is like picking, quote unquote, from a woman's perspective. But at the end of the day, I thought that was something that was prevalent, and it's not, and so I spent a lot of time trying to like tone it down a little bit. You know what I mean? I was getting a lot of crap from even family. You know what I mean? Family, friends that I really had confided in the past. Okay, let me not say like friends, but like, old people I used to kick it with. You know what I mean? Just not around a lot of positive vibes and not around a lot of confident people. And I didn't realize how a lot of that kind of transferred on to me. And so I say that to say your 20s are for building a foundation. 20s are for straight up fabulosity, honey. It's nothing more. That's it. 20s are for you to be out here being fabulous. Get your best body, right? Because you're young, you're in your prime. Like girl, what? There's no excuse for you not to be the way you want to look. I'm not saying there's an ideal image. Hear me clearly. I'm not saying you need to be out here trying to do anything that you don't feel comfortable doing. If you love yourself, you're good. You're good. As long as to you look in the mirror, you feel confident, you feel sexy, you feel beautiful, you feel like I'm that girl, I'm the best at me doing me, then that's all you need to, that's all you need. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, if you don't feel like that, girl, get that best body. Okay, let me tell you something. Girl, what they ain't tell us. Let me tell you what they ain't tell us, honey. I'm not here to, hear me clearly, like, I'm not men bashing, like, men are cool, they're dope, like, they make you feel safe, and, whatever, like, what's up, like, you know what I mean, it's cool, like, but, girl, let me tell you, a king is rare, honey, he is rare, he is like a needle in a haystack, honey, he is like 1 in 3 out of your city, honey. He is like I'm not gonna make it like, oh my God, he's, you know what I mean? But what I am gonna say is, like, honestly, you guys, in your 20s, a lot of young guys are broke. And when I say broke, I really just mean like mentally, spiritually, emotionally. They can't really provide for you. And it's not just financially, even though some of them can't provide for you financially, and honestly, you don't really want to be with somebody who can't do nothing for you. I hate to say it, I really do. But let me say this too, because I think that's an exception, right? It's an exception to the rule. But this whole concept of like building a life with somebody, I think is beautiful. I think it is so beautiful. I think that it is romantic. I think that it is soft and serene and lighthearted and dreamy. And it's a whimsical fantasy. It's beautiful. But let me tell you about the not the exception. Let me tell you about the rule. I ain't talking about the exception. I ain't talking about that 1 in a million. I'm just saying, you guys, at the end of the day, you cannot attach your life to anybody. People change. Some people you look up. Let me tell you something. I know people who I thought had an extreme potential. I know people who I thought didn't have. No, I can't really say that. Honestly, everybody I pretty much I see the best in people, right? But a lot of people don't maximize that. And I was listening to this Will Smith interview, and he was talking about how it was in reference to like a helicopter or whatever, and how when it comes to fear and growth and things like that, a lot of people have a cap that they reach. And it gets to a point where some people are not comfortable going that high. They don't want to go that high. They're not ready to jump. They don't want to go that far. They hit a cap. And so what happens is when you tie your life to that person, your cap, now you have to bring it down. Now you have to scale it back. Now you have to dumb yourself down to play on their level, because guess what? They're not coming up. And now you didn't tie your life to them. You have to pull them up. You have to make them be something that they're not and they don't want to be. And let me tell you, that's going to be a freaking headache. I can honestly say, being somebody who I love to see the good in people, I really do. But let me just tell you, at the end of the day, you cannot want something for somebody that they don't. You can't want something for someone that they do not want for themselves, you guys. Like, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. You can be a good girl. You don't have to go around proving that to nobody, and you don't have to let anybody step on your neck. You don't have to deal with friends who, you know what I mean? You got to tell them how to be. One of the things I can honestly say I've learned, don't believe these memes. Don't believe these memes, y'all. I'm telling you straight up. You don't have to tell nobody how to treat you. People show up, they show you who they are. You ain't vibing with it, let it go. And I remember being this way. And I remember I got so much crap, man, from family and friends. It's crazy how the people that you can confide in the most can be the biggest like distraction. You know what I mean? And I guess I always kind of gravitated to them, like my family, my family mostly because I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. So like my family was like, but I'm getting older now. I just kind of see like it. Nah, I ain't going down like that. But and family's always going to be family. Like I value family, but I'm just saying in regards to certain conversations, you need to just know for yourself, right? And I used to think they used to tell me, oh my God, you're always cutting people off. Oh my God, you're always cutting people off. Like, and not realizing, like, coming from a self-awareness perspective, understanding that this person is just probably projecting, right? Like, they just have maybe some codependent issues, or maybe they just be dealing with whatever they're dealing with, right? Like, maybe we just have two different perspectives on life, and we should just respect that. You know what I mean? I think sometimes, too, like, it's okay to disagree. I know for myself, it's all right to, listen, let me just say this, because honestly, this podcast is so good and so juicy, but, like, I didn't even, like, I'm just off the dome. I really wish I would have made a YouTube video, but I'm sorry, y'all. It's just, I think the process of getting up, cutting on the camera is not bad, but it's almost like the preparation that has to go, I really could have just done a little, Okay, anyway, moving forward. Understand that you can disagree with people and not have the same beliefs or ideas as them, but understand where that's coming from. And when I say, even if you can't understand where it's coming from on their behalf, know where you stand. Okay, let me go ahead and run that back because that was good. Know where you stand. Like, you have to know where you stand on certain things, where you're at with certain things, because at the end of the day, you can't be, listen, let me tell you about this whole manipulation, this whole narcissistic bullcrap. You ain't going to be manipulated and narcissified or narcissified. You're not going to deal with these type of people if you know who you are. Don't let people come into your life and try to convince you of anything. No, you got to be strong. Like, you got to really be strong in who you are, period. You know what I mean? Because people going to always get you to do what they want you to do for them. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying it's a shark eats shark world. I'm not saying, girl, I'm just saying at the end of the day, you gotta listen. You gotta know that for yourself. Like, you gotta know what you stand for, what you're about, because people are gonna try you. You know what I mean? And one of the things that I just see with a lot of young women is just like, don't be tying your life, or listen, like I said, what did I say? I said 20s are for fabulosity. I've never been a serious dater. Like, I've never been that type of girl. And, when I started to date, I see why I was never that type of girl. You know what I mean? To me, I don't think it's a waste of time. I see things from a different perspective. And that's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to, like, screw anybody's mentality, and I don't really want to speak on it in a different way. But what I will say is this. If you're dating a guy who doesn't know his purpose, he's not making the kind of money he wants to make, you know what I mean? And he's kind of still figuring it out. You're really wasting your time. Like, you're never going to be that priority. Or even if you do find yourself in that position, you're going to be carrying a lot of weight, and that's just unnecessary. Like, create a life for yourself. And that's what I'm telling create a life for yourself before any of that romance, before any of those things. I'm not saying you can't date and have fun, but you just want to make sure you're not being tangled and twisted in all of these different ways, because your soul can only take so much. A woman's strength is in her soul. And I'm just going to be honest, I don't think that everybody really has that inner strength. You know what I mean? To like be transformed and to be broken down and really be built back up again. It takes a lot of freaking willpower, a lot of mental power, a lot of emotional strength, a lot of spiritual strength. It takes a lot to really build yourself back up. Trust me, I'm trying to tell you right now, you may not have it, and I'm not saying like, oh, you can't do it and I can do it. No, I'm just letting you know right now, it's something that it takes a lot of wherewithal. We see people who are homeless. We see people who, you know what I mean? We always think it's just a drug issue or something. And honey, it takes a lot of strength to live. It takes a lot of strength to live life, honey. And I'm just saying, when you're young, you may not have that. And so you don't want to grow up and be cold-hearted, but at the same time, you got to toughen up. And you got to stand up for yourself and live your life. Don't let nobody come in your life and tie your life up. You know what I mean? Like, there are so many great things to do. I was cracking up at work today. Honey, they was asking me some questions like, oh, what are you going to do when you get home? I'm like, oh my God, I could think of a million things. And I've always been that way. I've never been the type of person who's been idle. I really tap into my hobbies, my gifts, my passions, my talents, the things that I can do. And then the reason why I'm able to do that is because I put myself first and I spend time with myself, and I know when I'm good at, I know my strengths. I have them written down on a piece of paper. I know my strengths and my weaknesses. So you can't tell me about me because I already know. You know, and people say, oh my God, you can't take criticism. No, it's not that I can't take criticism. I just know who I am. Thank you. You know what I mean? Politely though, you know? And so I just think at the end of the day, being modest is not going to get you anywhere. I'm telling you right now, like life is too short for modesty. Oh my God, it's too short for modesty. I remember being that person that was just so freaking modest. Ooh, girl, I feel sorry for her because she never got what she wanted. Never. You know, I'm gonna cry a tear for her, honey, because she was bulldozed with the wind, honey. And listen, and it's not a matter, like I said, that whole feminine, masculine energy, that's a bunch of raw, kill it. Stop listening to the people who even spew that stuff. To me, that's a bunch of rah. If you really want to talk about spirituality on a different level, honey, come on. That's not even a conversation that can even enter the doors of the realm of angels, honey. What are we even talking about? You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. That's just bottom level rah. Don't buy into that. You be yourself at the end of the day, and you make sure you have a freaking backbone when you go out here, because nobody's going to stand up for you, and nobody's coming to save you. Nobody is coming to rescue you. It's just not happening, you know? And I don't think that you can, like, have love or anything in your life until you're right within yourself. You can't be 100 if you ain't 100. And I really, really believe that. Like, if you ain't at 100, or if you even meet somebody who's trying to take you down to, like, a 99 or 95, no, you got to be with people who are going to take you to that 110, who going to put that percentage on that 100. You know what I mean? Who's going to multiply that 100. And I think that for so many women, we're taught to always put ourselves last, to be modest, to be meek, to be quiet, to be, you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong. I really believe that confidence is quiet, quite frankly. I've never been somebody to do the rah. Like, it's so interesting having a podcast, you know, and I love it because I get to speak to people and I know I'm helping people out there. But like, I've never been that type of person. I'm always quiet. In regards to my confidence, because you know, it is what it is. And I can honestly say, you know, I haven't experienced certain things, you know, that some people have experienced because of my confidence. I know for a fact you ain't going to try that with me. And I'm not saying I walk around with that persona. That's just something I know within myself. You know what I mean? And that's how you got to be when you're out here in this world, especially as a woman, because, honey, I'm trying to tell you, girls, times are changing. And I think they've always been this way. But you be yourself. You know, if you're a loving person, be a loving person. You know, you be who you are, you know, because the thing about this here, like me, this is me. Like, this is me straight up. Like, it's straight up, bottoms up. You know what I mean? Hello. Like, I don't know how, you know what I mean? And so I say be you. If you're loving, if you're kind, if you're caring, if whatever, you be you. Don't try to change who you are, because the moment you change who you are for somebody, or just period, like, and I ain't talking about changing habits and mindsets and things like that, like for the betterment of you. I'm talking about, like, fundamentally at your core, you're trying to change yourself to be soft-spoken, where you know good and well you ain't really the type to let stuff fly, or you know what I mean. When you're trying to change those type things about yourself, your self-esteem goes down because you plan on yourself. You see what I mean? You attract people who gonna be just as deceptive, you know, because you're deceptive. You're lying to yourself, girl. You know good and well you don't eat like that. You know what I mean? You know, you be you at the end of the day, and you gotta push through every boundary, every limit that you place on yourself, every limit that's placed on you, you know, and move quietly. I've made mistakes in that area, you know. Move quietly, and live life. You know, this is not a podcast to set you up to go out here and be somebody, or, you know, try to get something from somebody. This is not that. This is just coming from a heartfelt place of things that, you know, I've learned being a young woman. You know, I can't even say young girl. I'm grown at this point, girl. I'm grown. Like, I'm going to be 24. What? Eek! No, I'm kidding. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if that was in somebody's ear. I'm so sorry. But listen. Seriously, I'm 24 now. Like, I'm a young woman. I'm a classy, bougie, period. No, I'm kidding. But listen, I'm growing, right? And I'm young, but I'm a woman. You see what I mean? Like, I'm young and I'm fabulous. Yes. And I'm youthful. Yes. I'm just kidding. I'm not vain. But listen, I'm becoming a woman. And so, you know, these are just some things I have to share. Like I said, I know my audience is mostly women, and so I just had to tailor this to you guys because, and let me say this too. Okay, I'm gonna be childish. Honestly, Virgos like embody the feminine energy. Like, and when I say feminine energy, I mean just like giving it. That's what we do. If you're a Virgo, shout out to the Virgos. I had to, yeah, come on now. I had to throw a little punt in there for the Virgos, right? And that's not contradictory. That's just, Virgo, quote unquote, symbolism is virgin, women, blah, 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 healing, But listen, you got this. You got this. Live your life. Women, we are so smart and so powerful and so capable and so talented. Like we are the visionaries. We are the manifestors. We are nurturing. We are healers. Okay, we come in with that positive energy, that light. Make sure that you focus on yourself, hone in on yourself, believe in yourself, nourish yourself, see your seeds grow. You know what I mean? See your seeds grow. And the thing about this is because when you do that, you are radiating from a completely different space. And here's the thing, y'all. Let me tell you this too. I'm going to look both ways before I say this. No, I'm kidding. There's nobody in my room. But listen, when you radiating from that place, you got to be mindful because let me tell you, honey, when you're in that energy and you're just being a woman and you're being fabulous and you're doing your thing, whatever your thing is, you're just doing it well. If it's just loving on yourself, think about this. How your grandma will cook for you late at night. You need a situation. You need whatever, $10. You need whatever you need. I say $10, whatever. Listen, I'm giving it examples here. Whatever you need, your grandma would do it. She would be there. And if your grandma passed, my condolences, even if it's like, later on. I'm giving this example because that's just women. Now just think if you gave that same energy to yourself. Oh my God, where would you be? You know what I mean? Like, just think, girl, if you cooked yourself some healthy meals. Just think if you took yourself to the doctor. Just think if you booked that Groupon to the spa for yourself. Just think if you bought yourself a gift today. Just think if you bought you an anniversary gift. Just think if you bought you a new dress, a new bag. Girl, where would you be? Girl, you better wake up. Hello, just think if you watered you. See, we got it. We got it. And women, like I said, women are fabulous. This is what we do. We live, breathe, and sleep it. We're born with it, honey. You're born with it. And fabulous is your caliber, whatever it is. Like, and this is the thing too, like, listen, the beautiful thing about being an individual and being the person that you are is that you are who you are, and like, that's what makes you beautiful. Like, literally, it's you. And so let me tell you something right now. If anytime you've ever been yourself and, people have not messed with you or you may feel like they've played you or whatever the case may be, dust that off your shoulder because, first of all, everybody get played at some point in their life. Dust it off your shoulder and just understand, like, hey, that wasn't for me. And I really encourage that because I know sometimes, like, you can take a loss or something can happen and you really start to internalize it and think it's something wrong with you. No, you're not for everybody. You're not going to be for everybody. You don't want to be for everybody. So don't try to make yourself fit with people who don't gel with you. Like, no, this is supposed to be a jelly experience. Okay? Like, no, absolutely not. Like, life is great. Skate, have fun. You know what I mean? Like I said, 20s. Okay, I'm wrapping up because I'm almost going in 30 minutes. Actually, I think we're going to carry on because I feel like this is a good podcast episode and this is great. Another thing, when it comes to your 20s, I know that we get this a lot, but like, this is a real thing. You can't learn from everybody. So do not take advice from everybody. Like, literally, and what I mean is, you guys, you got to look at a person's whole nine. Like, you got to be discerning of the whole nine. Where are they at spiritually? Yeah, they got money, but are they happy? Are they online bashing people? And you know what I mean? And you got to take that for what it is. And you got to understand, okay, I'm going to take this for what it is. And is this somebody is this a life? Does this reflect me? Do I want this? Like, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, everybody's just speaking from their experience. If somebody's not happy, they're going to have a whole different experience when they're happy. That's why it's like, I'm forgiving for my own sake, right? Because, oh my God, Lord knows if I was not forgiving. Whew. Listen. When people do things, like, you have to understand they're not even at their best self. Like, I realize when I'm at work sometimes, I'm like, my coworkers, why do they do what they do, Lord? Whew, Jesus, they just be working my nerves sometimes. But, I'm like, I realize that if they had what it is that their hearts are desiring, whatever it may be, hopefully it's not, hopefully it's something good for humanity. But they would be a completely different person. I also understand seasons as well. And there were definitely seasons in my life. Well, I've pretty much always been myself. I'm not going to lie. I'm just a natural optimistic person. But, sometimes we have sadness. Sometimes we have loss in life. And we may be in a space of like sorrow. We may be in a space of grief. And we understand like for ourselves, because we know ourselves, that we're not at our best, right? And so sometimes you just meet people in life that are just sent to you maybe to share an encouraging word, or maybe to create a project that person was manifesting. Maybe you were that missing piece, like, you know what I mean? And so I say that to say, kind of going back to not being so attached to people as well. I don't know if I said that already, but listen, don't be so attached to people. Like, I feel like when it comes to attachment, you can enjoy somebody's company. And I think just as a woman, I think it's just natural to be like, can I see myself with this person? Especially if you're like, if it's a romantic interest, because you're like running the whole nine. Because I know me, I'm running the report because I need to know if I need to carry on or what, right? But, I think that sometimes being in that space, you just have to realize like, okay, well, like, is this something, 9 times out of 10 is not. So I just think sometimes you kind of have to just come out of your need to mate. I don't think it's like a desperation thing. I literally think it's an animalistic human thing, like that's just what we do. Like, I think as humans, like we're here to procreate. So like, it's just natural to have those like hormones and pheromones and all the chemical releases when you're thinking about whatever, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's okay to just kind of step back and just realize that. And, I'm pretty much finishing up this podcast, like series, this whole 9. I've had so much fun with this, but I definitely feel things are shifting. So, I definitely want these next couple episodes to be heartfelt. I don't really have like a set deadline, unfortunately, but it will be soon. So, I'm really excited that I actually made it to the point where I started recording with 30-minute episodes. I think that is so dope. Like, I love that so much, because I remember in the beginning when I first started this podcast, I could only talk for like 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 8 minutes max. I remember when I had went through that awkward phase too of like, my listeners, who's my audience, what's my niche, right? Trying to tailor my messages to be gender specific, right? You know what I mean? And like, I just remember going through the entire process of that, and so it's so cool seeing that. And I remember even from the very beginning, my very first podcast, The Creatives, just trying to figure out how did I want to sound, what was my voice, did I need to make it be, you know what I mean? I totally remember going through that whole 9. And so yeah, it's major, it's definitely major. But yes, I really, really enjoyed this. And I just had to go ahead and do this whole 30 for 30. And, like I said, I think at the end of the day, you got to guard your heart, especially as a young woman. Women, we are loving, we are caregivers. That's just what we do. We're nurturing. But I would encourage women to never be tolerant. Never be tolerant. You can be forgiving, you can be compassionate, you can be kind, you can be understanding, but don't ever be tolerant, because people are the way they are, and that's just the way they are, and you don't have to rationalize it. You don't have to reason with it, you know what I mean? And you certainly don't have to accept it by any means. You have to know that no matter what, you're going to be okay, right? Because at the end of the day, you're a human, you're an individual, right? If you believe in God, then you're a child of God, okay? Like a gift from God. That's literally what God declares in the Bible, honey. Hello, we are the gifts. So just imagine, like that's sickening. You know what I mean? That we are literally gifts from God, like, and the things that we can do being multipliers. Girl, come, stop it. And so coming into this new season, I'm so thankful because I love autumn. It's my favorite season, and I really feel the season's changing for me, and it feels really good. Like, I'm very, very blessed, honestly. Like, I've been through so much, you know what I mean? And I'm so proud of myself. It honestly, everything that I've been through. So let me tell you this too, like, if you're going through things, let me tell you right now, honey, when you come out on that other side, girl, if you can see my fist right now, sis, I am rooting for you. We are all rooting for you. The angels, honey, we are rooting for you. Because, girl, let me tell you what you don't know, honey. When you get to the other side, oh, girl, you're going to be a bad man, but everything going to be tell you that. You know what I mean? Like, and it's a real thing. Like, honestly, like, being on the other side and just kind of looking back and reflecting over everything I've been through, oh, my God. God is so good. And also, let me tell you this too. If you are on this side right now, don't sabotage it. And when I say sabotage it, I ain't talking about relationships. I'm talking about don't sabotage yourself. Don't sabotage yourself, because let me tell you something. When you've been through some stuff, it's kind of hard for you to believe good things can happen for you. Sometimes it can be kind of hard for you to believe that you can just have a season of peace, a season of rest, a season of prosperity. Girl, understand that's your birthright, period. Get comfortable there. Get comfortable with your peace. Get comfortable with your prosperity. Get comfortable with them blessings, them checks coming in. Get comfortable with it. Okay, get comfortable with it, period. Get comfortable sitting on your throne. Get comfortable sitting on that crown, honey. That price, that the price for our crowns has already been paid. You know what I mean? And that's a real thing. Like, I think about even generationally. Come on now, women. We couldn't even vote, y'all. Like, we literally couldn't even vote. That's crazy. Like, we couldn't vote. We couldn't have bank accounts. Like, they paid that price for us to be here today, girl. You better own that crown. Don't be disrespectful now. You know what I mean? This is bigger than you. And so anything you want to do, I'm on here to encourage everybody today. Please do it. Please do it. Anything you want to do, please do it. Start small. Start with 1 day a week. Start with 30 minutes a day. You know what I mean? Start with an 8-minute video. Start with a 5-minute video. Start with a TikTok, honey. Start with a short. Is that what they calling them? Shorts on YouTube? Is it 30-second clips? Y'all know I'm not tech savvy, but start with, maybe it's 15 seconds. I don't know. Start with a 10-second clip. If you, I don't care what you're doing. If you're on there playing hopscotch, start with it. Whatever you want to do, start today. And let me tell you something. Sometimes when you start new habits, sometimes you relapse. Sometimes you fall back into your old ways. That's just your mind trying to get you to just do what's comfortable. And it's going to be a whole lot of fear, honey. I'm telling you right now, it's going to feel like you're going to die. Girl, it's going to feel like death, honey. It's going to feel like you're about to die, honey. Girl, it's going to feel like you're going to be taken up out of here, because it's new and it's scary as ever. And that's why most people don't do it. But let me tell you, when you get to the other side, it's nothing greater than that. You know what I mean? There's nothing greater than that. And one of the things I can honestly say I've grown to love about these platforms that I have is like having these conversational based like channels. I love it. And, you know, it's a real thing, because I think now more than ever, we are so disconnected, like in real life, you know? And so I feel like just kind of being somebody who has a platform and like share certain things and talks to people, like it makes all the difference, you know? And it's so cool, because it's just like, wow. You know, like, oh my gosh, I feel like I could talk to this person. I feel like I'm having this conversation with this person. Like, this is the friend I never had. You know what I mean? Or maybe that's how I see it sometimes when I see certain things. But yeah, so anything you want to do, just know you can do it, and do it now. You know what I mean? Don't wait. Like, there's no rush, right? If you don't feel like you're in a season of execution, that's fine. There's no rush. Like, I really do believe in seasons of rest. I believe in seasons of preparation and cultivation and clarity. You know what I mean? Don't feel like you got to rush and get out here and do anything, because I think with new things sometimes come new responsibilities, and I think that you always want to be cultivated for your blessings. Like, you don't ever want your blessings to be a burden, especially when you put that work in, honey. Like, no, you want to be able to enjoy your blessings and really just like immerse yourself in your blessings. Like, so you don't ever want to do that. So just take your time, but just know, like, you're going to be okay. Okay. I guess it's like, that's how I want to end this. And I hope everybody had a great day. Like I said, with this new season coming up, I am just like sending love and positivity to anybody who has been in prior seasons, who has been struggling with certain things, who's overcoming certain things, who's being the healer of the family, who's breaking them generational curses, honey. I'm rooting for you. And I see you, girl. I see you. So keep it pushing, and know who you are. Find her. Literally go back and find her. Look for the pictures when you was the happiest. I mean, the happiest person. Like, look for them pictures and find her. Get back to the things you used to love. Get back to doing the things you used to do. Put yourself first, period. Put yourself first. I ain't saying be irresponsible. I'm saying put yourself first. And I'm saying live life, because 20s are for fabulosity, honey. This is what we do. Okay? All right, guys. I hope everybody had a great day. I'm gonna end this episode now. And, you know, I'm so proud. We went 33 minutes.